Tesla secured a massive new $2.7 billion megapack order from Georgia Power, and it includes roughly over three gigawatt hours of combined capacity across over 10 battery electric facilities across 8 sites in the state. And they're going to use Tesla's 4-hour duration megapack, so not the 2-hour, but the 4-hour. And I did rough estimates. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I think this will be enough power to power over 2 million homes for 4 hours, which is pretty incredible. And again, it's going to be across multiple sites, but I think they would come online if the project gets approval, which I think it will based on historical precedent. But they'll come online between 2028 and 2030. So it's going to be a little while before Tesla can actually recognize the revenue from that. But this project alone, Tesla Energy in general has a 30.5% gross margin, I believe. So you're looking at eight or $900 million in gross profit from this one order, and that's pretty incredible. And honestly, my 2.7 billion number is probably a little bit conservative. They didn't. I actually read the filing, and they sort of redacted all of the information regarding to price. So I kind of had to do some rough math, but this is a massive order, and just goes to show that we're still really in the early innings of Tesla Energy and the ultimate demand I think we're going to see for large grid scale battery energy storage, because it's much easier and quicker and cheaper to bring online big battery energy storage facilities than it is to bring on, coal peaker plants, for example. If you need, for example, in California, if you need a lot more energy pumped into the grid immediately between, like, let's say the 5 p.m. window when energy needs are the highest, you just switch on a lot of these megapack systems that, charged up on cheap energy during the night, and then you discharge it during the expensive energy times during the day. That's sort of the purpose of most of these facilities. And we've seen a lot of adoption in Australia with this technology, but I think the US is still really just getting started, especially with all these massive AI data centers coming online in the coming years. I think a lot of these systems are going to need battery energy storage to be able to deal with the power fluctuations of those facilities, because fossil fuel generators just can't keep up with it. So this is, a massive order. It's going to be a little while before they recognize the revenue, but the growth continues for the megapack business.
Yeah, I mean, this is one customer, right? One customer. So the world is going to need a lot of batteries. You're looking at all these AI data centers that are being created, these AI wars. 100 million spent, $1 billion spent just to hire one guy.
Yeah.
There's massive investments in AI. You want to build a 100+ stall supercharger site, we're going to need a lot of these batteries on the grid. So I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. They've got the Lathrop facility. Now they've got Shanghai. There's going to be another facility in Texas. The demand for batteries, you just sort of do the math on how many batteries would be needed to power the whole grid. It's kind of just mind-boggling. So I think this is the very early days for Tesla Energy. I think it's going to continue to expand. And I love the energy business because it's actually growing and it's actually real. It's not, oh, well, when robots are smarter than humans someday. No, this is just a battery. We're selling it. It's money on the bottom line. So kudos to the Tesla Energy team. I think this is not going to be one of the biggest orders for long. I think we're going to continue to see a lot more projects of this scale.
And if anyone's curious how to actually calculate the revenue Tesla's going to get from these, if you go to Tesla has, on their website, they have a megapack order configuration page. In the 4-hour duration that Georgia Power ordered, it shows if you order 1 megapack, 4-hour duration megapack, it's $1 million roughly, a little bit more than that, but let's say $1 million. But as you order more, obviously Tesla starts to incorporate a larger discount. So the max that you can put into the order configurator is 1,000 megapacks. So that's what I did, and it gives you an 8% discount if you order 1,000 versus just ordering 1. But Georgia Power is ordering over 3,000 megapacks. But I can't go above 1,000. So I just sort of incorporated a little bit of a bigger discount. And that's sort of how I got to the $2.7 billion number. But again, that could just be a little bit conservative.
Got it. You guys are talking about, don't be surprised if this isn't the biggest. Do you think that additional customers of this size would be in the same genre? So, this one was the Georgia Power. Maybe it's some of the other companies that are, have exact same needs, or do you see this changing? And like you were saying, like maybe, company that is putting together a giant cluster, right, of GPTs is going to be the next biggest customer? Is there a lot of variety within these customers, or you think it's a little bit concentrated?
I think there's definitely a lot of variety. I mean, it's a giant battery pack. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can use it to stabilize the grid. You can use it to provide backup power for the grid. You can use it not as a utility, but as an AI data center that wants to provide battery backup for their own data center. You can use it to back a large scale solar or wind project and store some of that energy to use 24/7. So there's a ton of potential use cases. I think Tesla's software is really unparalleled in terms of what it can do. They can make the battery pretend that it's a natural gas turbine and spin up and ramp down its power output just like a natural gas turbine would. So for these large utility customers like Georgia Power, they can just drop it in and it works just like the power plants that they're used to. So I think there will be more utility customers. I think there will be other types of customers too. The use cases are, pretty long.
I can think of two more uses. One is energy arbitration. You could just literally just build one of these to make money from it. So you essentially charge them on cheap energy during the nighttime, and then you discharge that energy. You sell it back to the grid at a higher price during the day when price per kilowatt hour is more expensive. And Tesla's auto bidder software helps with that actually. So we've already seen multiple projects like that. Another use case would be smaller use case, but for example, PepsiCo is building a brand new Tesla semi-charging station at one of their Frito-Lay facilities in the U.S. And they're actually going to install a big solar field next to it, 960 kilowatts, and they're going to put a Tesla Megapack there. So basically, the solar will charge the Megapacks, and then the Megapacks, or the semis, will be able to charge from the Megapack, the power generated from the solar. So, there's sort of smaller projects like that, but then there's obviously the massive ones like what Georgia Power just did, where they spread it across the state and use it for peak energy demand needs. And Georgia Power specifically said we need to prepare for the winters of 2031 and beyond, and we need more energy storage to prepare for that. So that's why they're placing this massive order.
Yeah, nice arbitrage play that you laid out there in regards to daytime and nighttime. Right now, as they continue to scale and get bigger here, who would you guys say is the main competition for them?
I think probably the battery cell makers themselves, BYD and CATL. They also have, utility batteries. That's more in other parts of the world. But Tesla's really set apart by their software. The things that their software can do, Sawyer mentioned Auto Bidder. Auto Bidder is like autopilot for a Megapack. You just put the battery out in your site, and Auto Bidder can look at energy prices, forecast when power prices are going to be high and when they're going to be low, and trade energy for you autonomously so that you make money from your Megapack. That's something that, humans had to do before. Now it can be handled entirely by the AI. So they've got some pretty powerful software. It's really easy to stack these things endlessly together and create a huge battery that really acts like one battery, even though it might be, dozens or hundreds of Megapacks. And we've really just been talking about, expanding the power generation of the United States. You see China, they're just building out a ton of power generation capacity. If we want to win in, scaling out autonomous electric vehicles, if we want to win in humanoid robots, if we want to win in building these large AI data centers and being competitive, we're going to need a lot more electric power. And I think Megapack is going to be a key part of that, not only here in the United States, but around the world.